Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for March 17th, 2016. And for your St. Patrick's Day, we're expecting a few showers to be around today, but this is going to be in association with this very large and broad area of low pressure to our north. And as you can see that right here, situated just to our north, kind of elongated. A few showers in association with that, so we're going to call it mostly cloudy today. A few peaks of sun too, with just a few showers rotating through. Might actually be an afternoon thunderstorm. That's also possible for areas of elevation, probably further north. But this area of low pressure will move away and then be out of the picture. On Friday, we're going to have partly cloudy skies. Could be a rain or even a snow shower for far areas farther north. I don't think this amounts to anything at all unless you get up way up north here across the 5 northern tier counties of Bradford, Tioga, Susquehanna, Wayne, places up here like that would be anywhere in elevation. Then you could get a few quick dusting up here. That would be the worst case scenario. But this is just a cold front moving through. This is a reinforcing shot of cold. And then this area of low pressure that's associated with it is going to become very important, along with a trailing high pressure that's coming into the picture right here. Now, there's a couple different players in this. They're going to be setting up here in advance of a system this weekend, and we're going to examine some of those right now. There's a couple different players that are important. First of all, here's the frontal boundary that's going to be sagging off to our south. So along this boundary, there will be a surface area low pressure that will form somewhere down here and kind of right up here, like in this direction here. Okay, now that's the surface reflection. What I'm looking at here is the 500 millibar chart here. This is looking up at the what's going on at 18,000 feet approximately above the surface. We have an upper level low feature that's coming diving down into the Midwest here. Another upper level low that's sitting up here, and then you have a short wave sitting behind it. So right now on the GFS shows that these are in too close proximity to one another. Need a little bit of separation and breathing room here. So the European model did that today, allowed the system out here to become a little bit stronger. If these two are too close, this one here is not going to allow this one to develop because it's too close. They're too close to each other. You have one pretty much robbing energy from the other. But this one will bring enough cold air down, we think. You see how the flow is behind this area of low pressure. Will bring in cold air. There'll be plenty of cold air here this weekend if there is a storm, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about how close these two get to each other. This is further separated, and this one has room to develop and deepen, and that did that today on the European model that ran on Wednesday afternoon, and that's why you had a storm, pretty good snowstorm here for areas along I-95. Now, there's a lot of things can go right or wrong depending on your perspective with this. So we're just going to wait this out for another 24 to 48 hours and see if we can come up with a better solution. A lot of players on the field there, as I was just showing you. Very confusing looking map there, but a lot of things can tend to go right and a lot of things can go wrong depending on your perspective, whether you want snow or you don't. Saturday will be a nice day, mostly sunny. We're going to have high pressure building into our north, and that's sitting right up here. So high is actually in a good position. In the meantime, our storm system surface low pressure is actually gathering steam down south here, and it's poised to start making a run up the coast. Now this is the GFS model, which was, as of the time of this video, the furthest east of the guidance that ran today. So here's this area of low pressure moving up the coastline. If the going back to, well, I can go back to this upper level map here. Going back to this map here, let's move a little bit forward here in time. Just want to show you what this does as this upper level energy gets a little bit better organized. It's all going to depend on like those two features here. This has room to develop and really cranks up. This trough axis, instead of being a neutral tilt, will turn negative sooner. So this is on the negative side here. This will allow for this system coming up the coast to get actually pulled back toward the coast a little bit. We didn't see that on the GFS because it's too progressive with it, and it didn't close off. The trough axis actually remained neutral and didn't go negative tilt until this thing is offshore, which allowed this thing to escape further east. And you can see that here it's too far east, whereas the European model started to come up like this, but then it's partially phased and allowed this to get tucked into the coast a little bit more and then continued up here like this. It pulled it northwest by that trough turning negative. So that's another key ingredient to this whole equation. And it's a little uncertain yet whether that's going to happen or how that's going to evolve. That's why we need another 24 to 48 hours. But here's a possibility. Some of the models showing now snow getting into our eastern sections, and they have started shifting this a little bit northwest because that trough axis does turn negative, and this storm does start bombing out a little bit closer on here on the European model. European model is right about here as opposed to being here, which gets the heavier axis a little bit back further to the west. So, again, this is all looking at the daytime runs of on Wednesday of all these models that corrected back west with this system. So we are going to keep a close eye on it because there are a lot of things going to happen with it, and it could be a late season snowfall. Can this happen? Absolutely. We've had this happen in our analog year of 1958, right around the change to spring, just like we're talking about with this one. Of course, this Sunday is the first day of spring on the 20th, and that's right around the time in 1958 we had a big snowstorm that hit as well. Very similar type setup here, very eerily similar type system here with a coastal system affecting the area. But a lot of things can happen with this. We can still have a complete miss out to sea. That is still on the table. We can still have a system that gets tucked up a little bit even further west, which would get the interior locations a good snow event, and more rain along the coast and south and east of Philly if that were to happen. Or we split the difference in the middle and you get a good snowstorm along I-95 or points just north and west, extreme eastern PA and much of New Jersey. We'll have to keep an eye on this for the next couple days. Again, 24 to 48 hours we need approximately. Let's call it 24 to 36. We should know by then what the models are going to trend with and what direction we're going with the system. And at that time, we can start thinking about issuing alerts for My Pocket Meteorologist and also working on first calls and final call maps over the weekend. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for March 17th, 2016. Have a great Thursday.